What's good? Peace and blessings to the dope family. This channel exists solely for the enlightenment, survival, and maturation of men. Now, before we get into the knowledge, get into the game, go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like button, and also hit the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Alright, man, so I had a couple of the fellas reach out wanting me to give insight on the Will and Jada situation. Or should I say the Will and Jada debacle? At first, I was a little hesitant, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to turn this channel to a gossip channel. But when I watched it a couple more times, and so many different perspectives were opened up and revealed to me, man, this video was way deeper than the surface level opinions I was seeing within my circle, seeing online, seeing on YouTube. You know what I mean? So what I did was watch it 2 times, just straight through, just for simple mental digestion. So from the 3rd time and forward, I watched different parts of the video. So for example, you know, I will watch Jada's facial expressions and hand gestures. Next time I will watch Will's facial expressions and hand gestures. Next I will watch Jada's body language as Will talked. And the same, I would watch Will's body language as she talked. Then I would watch and put all of Jada's facial expressions, body language, and hand gestures together to see if they made sense, and so forth and so on. I did the same for Will. So by analyzing a video in this manner, you dissect it down to its very essence. And if you know what you're watching, boy, was this a piece of work, man. I would say it was Will's and Jada's greatest performance by far of their careers. They had a lot of people fooled, but they didn't fool me, man. And I'm gonna break it down for you. So like I said, man, I've seen many different takes and opinions on the topic, and what's not being touched on is how rehearsed this was. Now, don't get me wrong, when you're going on camera with another person, of course you want to have some sort of unison and be on the same accord, especially if that person is your spouse. But what nobody is talking about is how heavily edited this was. There's literally a scene where Jada takes her left hand and touches the table across her body. So get this visual in your head. She's touching the table with her left hand across her body, so it's to the right of her. You got that? So when the camera cuts to another angle, she's touching the table with the same left hand, but directly in front of her, which means this was multiple takes on multiple scenes, and they just didn't feel like they got it right. But nonetheless, you know, for this to be a confession or a release of some sort, it felt like they rehearsed it multiple times. The week before, the month before, the years prior to this coming out. You know what I mean? Not to mention, you know, to add context to the whole her bringing herself to the red table, she only brought herself to the red table for only 13 minutes. Which is half of the time of her previous shortest video, which is 24 minutes, and her longest video being 53 minutes. So let's just say she averages 30 minutes of video, and all of this is verifiable. But anyways, there was multiple times where they talked in unison and said the same exact things at the same exact time. And one that stuck out the most was when they said August, and I quote, they said August, you know, when he came around, he was really sick. They said this at the same exact time. Now, some of you would defend this and say, well, they've been married forever. And to this I say, chill. It puts me in the mind of a cypher or rap battle. For those who know what I'm talking about, it's pretty much where 2 rappers go back and forth trying to one-up each other for the win. But every rapper camp knows the verse they're saying, so at certain parts, their camp will chime in and you have 5 to 20 people saying the same line. Because when you have a group of people saying the same thing or yelling the same line, it gives that line power. So this is what that felt like when they both were speaking in unison and finishing each other's sentences and saying the same exact thing. And also notice how she pretty much said August was broken and she was broken and they had a thing. You know what I mean? And she skipped straight to the healing part, the life advice and positive quotes. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't much of a hot take or a confession at all, because her and August was never a secret. This is just the first time that he and her admitted from their own lips that they had a thing. So it's toxic in nature, and it's very narcissistic in nature to downplay your actions that potentially could have hurt people. You know what I mean? It's not up to you as the person confessing or admitting to something to say, yes, I did this, I did that, but what's the big deal? That's very manipulative. And that's exactly what she was attempting to do. She was steering the viewer's emotion to say that her actions weren't as big of a deal to even bring this to the red table. Like, I don't even know why I have to do this. That was her attitude the whole time. And let's be all the way 100, man. If Will was the one sitting in Jada's seat as the confessor, and Jada was the one sitting in Will's seat as the one who has been done wrong, the energy surrounding this story would be completely different. If Will was confessing to having an intimate relationship with his daughter's friend who was half his age, and then attempting to downplay it would be a headline within itself, asking if he even really cares that he has potentially done damage to his family. Now, there was a lot of parts where they kept repeating themselves. One specifically at the beginning, Will kept emphasizing they specifically said nothing. And he said this at least 3 times, which is subconsciously programming the viewer to believe this to be true. So when you're discussing this with someone, chances are you'll repeat this because you believe it to be true because you heard it so many times throughout the recording. There was also the facial expressions not matching the hand gestures or the supposed emotion they were trying to communicate. There was a whole lot of Jada downplaying her actions, like I said, and a whole lot of Will having submissive postures throughout the whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Jada is Will's handler, but that may be too deep, too much for y'all to consume. You know what I mean? So I won't take it there. But Jada also made attempts on your subconscious as well by continuously saying she was hurt and broken and all that BS. But let's keep it real, man. August was an individual that got involved in a consensual situation where he thought it was solid. Not to mention, man, Will and Jada call this man Aug. Since when have you heard a wife getting into another relationship with a side dude and a husband also using the nickname that the wife uses? Man, this is deeper than y'all think, bruh. So really, man, it gives another perspective on things. Maybe August dropped this heat on the world to help roll out his new album that dropped shortly after he confirmed his relationship with Jada. You know what I'm saying? Which leads me to believe that they're all in on the whole thing, because they all stand to benefit from this when you actually sit down and think about it. You know, all benefits from this because it helps him thrust back into the headlines and into the eye of the world and makes him relevant again, a household name. You know, Jada benefits because it helps promote her show that she developed that's taken off slightly and has a pretty solid following, but I'm sure it's not as much as she would like. So don't be surprised if she gets her own show on one of these major networks, man. She's had some acting roles that are well known, but for the most part, she's been in Will's shadow the whole marriage. And Will benefits because he gets to put on this strong, forgiving, ideal husband display for the world. You know, which will then solidify his transition in the future as the new Morgan Freeman or Bill Cosby, but with a Steve Harvey twist. You know what I'm saying? With his own shows or just hosting things. You know, he's getting up in age, so the action movies will become a thing of the past, and he'll transition to more of the black community's godfather or something like that, man. So to bring this to a close, what you have to know is that whole thing was damage control, man. That Red Table Talk was crisis management at its finest. You know, they understand that people love when celebs are relatable and transparent, allegedly. And you know what you have to understand as the consumer of these productions is when you get to a certain level, you have to be precise with your movement. And Will and Jada are just that. You have women siding with Jada, you know, who played the hurt, broken woman, and you have men ride with Will, who played the husband who got played. And August was collateral damage, or a pawn who played the dude who Jada used to get over her pain and brokenness. You know, this was just another play on the world stage for public consumption. All the while, celebs and public figures are being indicted at alarming rates. You know, you got dust plumes, you got killer hornets, corn shortages, race wars. Bro, I can't make this stuff up. But let me not turn this channel to a conspiracy channel. You know what I mean? Because that rabbit hole runs deep, my brothers. So the game or the lesson for the day, man, is just simply learn how to read people. The words out their mouth should not be the only deciding factor for your loyalty. You know what I mean? Learn how to read those facial expressions. Learn how to read their body language, that posture, and weigh up their actions to what they say. Because 100% of the time, people will tell you exactly who they are. You know what I mean? But you have to be spiritually awake, spiritually open, spiritually aware to receive this message. And you won't be able to receive this message if you're spiritually closed off and calcified. You know what I mean? You're just leaving your existence to chance, hoping that you come across good people. And 9 times out of 10, if you're living your life like that, when things happen to you, you step into the victim role and you make excuses and you blame that person for being that way when all the time they were telling you exactly who they are. But like I always say, fellas, it's a hard journey, but a necessary journey of maturation. You know, before you go, if you already have not, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button and the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Also, feel free to email me at dopediscourse@gmail.com for your free consultation or simply to chop it up. But until next time, my dope family, I'm out.